In the storied history of the British monarchy, few roles have proven as enigmatic and complex as that of the Queen Consort, a wife to the sovereign, yet not herself born into the royal bloodline, tasked with supporting her husband's reign, while carefully navigating the delicate work of public service and charitable patronage. It is a position steeped in tradition, yet one that has continually evolved to meet the shifting tides of the modern age. And for Camilla, the current Queen Consort to King Charles III, that evolution has been particularly turbulent. From her status as the reviled third person in Charles' marriage to Princess Diana, to her hard-won redemption arc and acceptance into the royal fold, Camilla's journey has been one of perseverance, patience, and no shortage of controversy. But as she settles into her new role alongside the king, there remains an air of uncertainty around what the future may hold should an unexpected tragedy strike. For in the wake of Charles' passing, Camilla would find herself in truly uncharted territory, a queen consort made dowager by the ascension of a new monarch. While the title of Queen Consort is bestowed upon the wife of a reigning sovereign, that status is effectively rendered ceremonial upon said sovereign's death, as the royal family's line of succession would elevate Prince William to the throne. His wife Kate Middleton would then assume the active role of Queen Consort, leaving Camilla to recede into the background. It's a scenario with few modern precedents, save for the example of Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother following the death of King George VI in 1952. In that instance, the beloved matriarch retained the honorific of Queen out of respect for her service during her husband's reign. But her public duties and visibility diminished significantly as the focus shifted to her daughter, the new Queen Elizabeth II. For Camilla, such a transition would undoubtedly be a seismic shift in her day-to-day existence. After spending the past few years acclimating to the immense responsibilities and scrutiny that come with being an active queen consort, she would suddenly find herself relegated to the sidelines, still a member of the royal family, but no longer its leading lady. It would be an incredibly delicate situation to navigate, explains Marlene Koenig, a longtime royal expert. On one hand, you have this woman who has dedicated herself to her role and won over much of the public after years of being vilified. But on the other, the monarchy's very survival depends on maintaining a clear line of succession and rallying around the new sovereign. In other words, no matter how much good faith Camilla has built up, no matter how beloved she may be by the people, her position would become largely ceremonial the moment Prince William ascends the throne as king. A new era would dawn, with Kate as the queen consort to capture the nation's adoration and attention. The question then becomes, what does the future hold for the Dowager Queen Camilla? How does a woman who has spent the better part of 2 decades steadily ascending the royal ranks adapt to having the proverbial red carpet abruptly pulled out from under her? If King Charles' passing does indeed occur during Camilla's lifetime, it's widely expected that he has already discussed contingencies for her future status with his son and heir. And if tradition holds, the new sovereign would likely extend certain courtesies and allowances to his stepmother out of respect for her prior service. Typically, we've seen dowager queens permitted to retain a modest household staff and royal residence where they can spend their remaining years in keeping with the dignity of their former role, notes royal historian Robert Lacey. But the specifics of Camilla's situation would be largely up to William's discretion as the new monarch. In other words, while Camilla would never be entirely stripped of her royal status and privileges, the extent to which she could continue public duties or charitable work would fall to Prince William. As the new king, he would be well within his rights to redefine his stepmother's place within the firm to suit the modern monarchy's needs. For Camilla herself, who has spoken candidly about the immense pressure and scrutiny of being queen consort, such a transition could potentially come as a relief. Having weathered decades of vilification and scorn from the public, only to painstakingly rebuild her image through diligent charity work, perhaps stepping out of the spotlight would allow her to finally shed a piece of the burden she has carried for so long. One could easily envision Camilla embracing a quieter, more secluded existence in her later years, Koenig suggests. A chance to finally live on her own terms, away from the ever-watchful public eye that she has had to endure through so much of her life. Of course, any such scenario would likely be years, if not decades away. At 75 years old, Charles is still just entering the beginning stages of what will be a history-making reign as the oldest person ever to assume the British throne. With both he and Camilla understood to be in relatively good health, their future together could still have a considerable runway ahead of it. But within the royal family, succession planning is a continual process, an endless looking ahead to the what-ifs that could reshape the monarchy at any moment. And few future scenarios carry as much potential to upend the existing order as the passing of the sovereign from one reign into the next. For now, Camilla remains the picture of poised devotion as she stands alongside her husband, the man she spent decades waiting to make her wife. Her public re-emergence and the steadying presence she has provided Charles have been credited as catalysts for the royal family's rebounding popularity in recent years. Yet even as she basks in the glow of her hard-fought redemption arc, Camilla cannot help but remain cognizant of the fact that her role is, by definition, impermanent. A queen consort only by virtue of being a monarch's wife, not born to the hereditary line of succession herself. So while the extent of Camilla's future circumstances may still be shrouded in uncertainty, one thing remains clear: her destiny is eternally intertwined with that of her husband. When his reign comes to an end, for whatever reason, her time on the royal stage will face curtain call as well. The question is what path the Dowager Queen will walk into the proverbial wings. Only time will tell whether Camilla's journey leads her to a quiet, isolated existence removed from public view, or perhaps a more visible role supporting the next generation of sovereigns, lending the wisdom and perspective of a woman who overcame immense adversity to wear the crown. Either way, her extraordinary life's work will be forever defined by the duality of her existence, the reviled and the redeemed, the mistress who became queen. It's a destiny that could still carry numerous twists and turns before reaching its ultimate conclusion. But for a woman whose incredible perseverance has already secured her a permanent place in the annals of royal history, perhaps the greatest uncertainty of all is just how indelible her legacy will become.